The fruit nerd Thanh Truong likes to cook dishes from his Vietnamese childhood. He prepares glutinous rice balls that float in a sweet syrup.
I'm making my mum's dẻ, Troi Nuoc. Now the dish is named after something floating in a river. Now dẻ means dessert. Troi Nuoc means drifting in the water. Yeah, so we're gonna make the mung bean paste to go into the mung bean dumpling, mochi ball, glutinous rice ball. And the reason why this dish is significant is because you need to eat more than one of these mochi-like sticky rice balls. You often eat one, but you have multiple small ones around it. Because if you have more than one, you have 3 or 4, it represents the family being together. So we just wash the mung bean to get some of the starch out, to make it a bit clean. And then I put 2 bowls of water in, and we're just gonna boil the mung bean, but we gotta have the lid closed, because if you don't have the lid closed, it's not gonna cook fully. So after 10 minutes, I'm gonna add some olive oil and some salt. So I just wanna dissolve the palm sugar in water slowly. And now palm sugar, if you can't get it, try brown sugar. So we're just letting that dissolve slowly, and now we're going to knot this pandan leaf. Now what they used to do in the old days, they used to bash their pandan to kind of get it loose, but I'm just going to squish it all up. But yeah, so you just get your pandan and you knot it, and that kind of starts to break the pandan leaf up. So this is chrysanthemum leaves, and it's just gonna add this nice kind of floral but like tea-like element to it. So you're just gonna let that steep. And then the last one, which is the most important, is the ginger. So we're gonna let the skin steep as well. So it's a ginger syrup for the dumpling. So what I'm tasting for is if it's cooked. And as soon as it's cooked, you should take it out. So you just want to break it down a bit, but I still want to see a bit of the grains, because the grains will give you that texture. So one of the elements of this dish is a thickened coconut cream, which is salted. So I'm still going to use the thickened coconut cream because it adds a lot of balance, but the saltiness is now going to come from the mineraliness of the saltbush. I think it's wonderful using endemic ingredients here in Australia. I'm the first to say that I have a lot to learn, and I know that Nornie is using the saltbush as a rub. And so the way that I'm going to use saltbush today is to shallow fry it. What I love about saltbush is that it has a minerally saltiness to it. It's got this almost earthy kind of bush-like feel. You can almost taste the bush when you eat it, which is why when I shallow fry it today and I put it in my dessert, it's going to have a different kind of salty element. You just want to pick it, you want to remove it from the main stalk. And we're going to shallow fry this in a neutral oil. I use grapeseed oil because it's got a higher burning point than vegetable oil, and it's still quite neutral. You only really need 40 to 50 seconds, and you want to have it within this range of 150 to 160. If you're at 180 degrees, it tends to burn and turn brown. And if it's under 150, it just soaks up all the oil and doesn't become crispy, but just really oily. So it's now 156, so you know it's between 160 and 150. So I'm just gonna take it out. It's been 40 seconds. We'll just do the coconut milk really quickly. I love this dish because one, it reminds me of my mum. It's a really wholesome dish. It's really simple to make. And if you're a kid, you'd love to make this dish because it's like playing with Play-Doh. So I've got some glutinous rice flour here, about 450 grams, probably close to 500. Now what you want is warm water, because if you add cold water, it's gonna make the dough really thick and hard. And what you want something that's a bit malleable so that you can knead the dough and work it into a shape that you want. So we'll just add 1 bowl first, and then we'll work it. Now that our dough is pretty much ready, I'm gonna roll a few mung bean filling paste balls, and then we're gonna wrap the filling up with the glutinous rice, and then we're good to boil it. So we're just gonna get it into cold water or an ice bath as quickly as possible so it doesn't stick to each other, and it just cools down. So first we're gonna put the glutinous rice balls in, and we'll start with the mung bean filling ones. And I'm gonna add some of these little small ones as well. And then we're gonna put the coconut cream on. Now, my mum usually puts a huge dollop on. So each to their own, depends how much you like. Then our saltbush, and what awesome color. Look at these pistachios, they're pink, rosy, and green. You can flood the bowl with the palm sugar ginger syrup. So we're just going to pour it, let's say till it feels about halfway, because it's going to add a lot of sweetness to it. And then we're just going to end off with a bit more cream around the side. Family means a lot to me because, as you grow up, you realise that, and you have your own kids, I've got 2 kids now, you realise that all those things that you took for granted now are, just things that you really cherish now.
Tasty. Tasty.
Oliver, look what Daddy's got. Here you go, hun.
Yum.
So, Troi, Nuoc? Do you want some, Oliver?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why, cooking my mum's recipes, it's a warming moment for me to feed and nourish my children just like my parents did for me. Oliver, cheers!
Cheers.